Welcome back students. I am your geography teacher Vandana Joshi and you are watching SST June. Students, today we will see the part 2 of the chapter Life on the Earth, in which we are going to study about our today's topic, that is Biogeochemical Cycle. So students, under the Biogeochemical Cycle we will study few cycles in our environment. So these cycles are, students, our today's topics under the biogeochemical cycles are, the first is the water cycle. The water cycle, which already we have studied in our previous chapter as the hydrological cycle. The next topic which we will study today, it is the carbon cycle, in which we will see the importance of the carbon in the human life. Then after that, we already know that oxygen is a important part of human life for the survival of the human beings. So next subtopic will be the oxygen cycle, and then later we will study about the nitrogen cycle. Apart from these gases, there are many more gases in our environment. So for that we will study in our next subtopic the other cycles. Then after that we will see what is the ecological balance. So let's start our today's topic. What is the biogeochemical cycle? The biogeochemical cycle is a cyclic movement of chemical elements of the biosphere between the living organism and the environment. These are referred to the biological cycle, where the bio means or bio refers to the living organism, means all the living organism, those are in our earth or in our environment, these all are referred to the bio. And in the other hand, the geo refers to the rock, soil, air and the water availability on our earth. In biogeochemical cycle, a great variety of living organisms exist and survive on the earth, which forming the diversity of the associations amongst themselves and their non-living surroundings. Such survivors involved a systematic flows of energy, water and the nutrients, such as a balance of chemical components in the hydrosphere and the atmosphere is maintained. This balance is maintained by a cyclic passage through the tissues of plants and the animals. The cycle starts with the absorption of the chemical elements by the organism and is returned to air, water and soil through the decomposition, about which we have studied in our last video. So here the solar energy plays a role in that. How? The solar energy largely energizes these cycles. Such cycles movement of elements between living, means the biotic organism like the plant, animals and the microorganism, and their non-living, means the abiotic, the surrounding things like the rock, water, air and so on, are these all things refer to the biogeochemical cycle, where already I told you the bio refers to the living organism and the geo refers to the non-living organism. There are two types of the biogeochemical cycle. These are known as the gaseous cycle and the sedimentary cycle. So for example, if we want to take the examples of the biogeochemical cycles, as already I told you, these are known as the water cycle, the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle, the oxygen cycle and the other gases or the element cycle, in which the phosphorus cycle and the sulfur cycle is also included. So now let's see what is the water cycle. As many times we have studied about the water cycle, and it is also known as the hydrological cycle. So we know that all living organisms, the atmosphere and the lithosphere maintained between them a circulation of the water in solid, liquid or the gaseous form, which refer to as the water cycle, or we are saying it as a hydrological cycle. Now we will see what is the carbon cycle. As you can see on this diagram, it is showing a proper carbon cycle in which you can see one side the plants are there, those are receiving the atmospheric carbon dioxide, and it has been by the animals also. Then after that it has been observed by the decomposition, then the root respiration is there, then again the circle is going on through the soil respiration, then carbon dioxide, then again the plant respiration is there by the plant, and then same process is going on in which two more elements are included, those are known as the animals, and the next is the decomposition is also next element in which the decomposers are consuming the dead remains. So it is a carbon cycle. In another word, we can say the carbon, as the carbon dioxide is derived from the atmosphere and incorporated into the tissues of the plants through photosynthesis. As we know, the photosynthesis process is there in which the plants inhale the CO2 and exhale the oxygen. So, as plants are the primary link in the food chain, as the food chain we have discussed earlier in the previous video. So in that also we have seen the plants are the important link for the food chain, or we can say the primary link for the food chain. This carbon is passed to animals during the respiration of the animal, plants, and the decomposition by the microorganisms. So here the decomposition which was done by the microorganisms, it is known as the carbon, which is returned to the atmosphere in the form of oxygen. Even the fossil fuel also release the carbon dioxide to maintain the level of carbon dioxide in our environment. And the plants also, few plants are there, those are releasing the carbon dioxide during the night time. The animals, the human beings, and many decomposers are also a part to maintain the quality and maintain the level of the carbon dioxide and as well as the other gases in our environment. Now let's see what is the oxygen cycle. The oxygen cycle is the cycling of oxygen between the living and the non-living components of the environment. During respiration, oxygen is taken by the living organism and released into the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide. Plants take up CO2 and release oxygen during the photosynthesis. In the stratosphere, ozone is formed from the oxygen and the deassociation to form oxygen. Students, as you can see on the board, the whole process of the denitrification is known as the nitrogen cycle, through which the level of the nitrogen is balanced in our environment, in which we can include the atmospheric nitrogen, which is balanced by three fixation. First is the atmospheric fixation, second is the biological fixation, and third is the industrial fixation. And it is also maintained by the nitrate compounds, through which the nitrogen cycle is always balanced in our environment. In detail, if we will say what is the nitrogen cycle. The biological agents which fix the atmospheric nitrogen at 78% by volume of gases in the atmosphere into the soil in form of nitrates. Nitrogen in soil are taken up by plant roots and may then pass along the food chain into animals. Decomposing bacteria, it converts the nitrogen. There are two processes of balancing the nitrogen. One is the nitrification and one is the, you can see, denitrification. What is the denitrification? Denitrification, some species of the bacteria, some special type of the bacteria who directly convert nitrate into free nitrogen. That process is known as the denitrification, and in these ways we can say the cycle process of the nitrogen is always maintained. Now let's see what are the other mineral cycles. Other than the carbon dioxide, oxygen, hydrogen and the nitrogen, these are the main elements of the environment, but there are more mineral cycles like the phosphorus, sulfur, calcium and the potassium, which are used by the plants and animal for their nutrients and forming a biogeochemical cycle. All living organisms fulfill their mineral requirement from these minerals only. Here one important point. To maintain a proper biogeochemical cycle, the biome plays an important role on it. In our world, there are a lots of biomes, so let's look on these biomes in short. Students, as in previous video, I told you about the different biome of the world, that these are the forest, desert, grasslands, aquatic and the altitudinal. So let's see one by one. The forest, which is again subtyped into the tropical, equatorial, deciduous, temperate and the boreal. These are having the vast variety of flora and fauna. And if we talk about the areas where these are situated, so the A1 biomes like the equatorial and the deciduous biomes, these are situated 10° north and the 10° south. If we talk about the next type of biome, that is equatorial biome, is situated into the 10° to 25° north south. If we talk about the temperate type of forest, these are situated into the eastern North America, Northeast Asia, Western and the Central Europe. And if we talk about the boreal type of the forest, this belt is situated into Eurasia and the North America. Next is the desert. The desert biome is situated into 4 type of areas. Number 1, that is the hot and the dry desert. Number 2 is the semi-arid desert. Number 3 is the coastal desert, and number 4 is the cold desert. So the hot and dry deserts are known as the Sahara, Kalahari, Marusthali, Rubella Khali. And if we talk about the semi-arid desert, these are the marginal areas of the hot desert. The coastal desert is known as the Atacama Desert. The cold desert, those are situated in the tundra climatic regions, for example, the Ladakh Desert. Now let's see about the grasslands. The grasslands are also 2 types. One is the tropical savannas. The tropical savannas are situated into the large area of Africa, Australia, South America and India. Number 2 is the temperate steppe grassland, which are situated into the part of Eurasia and the North America. If we talk about the aquatic type of world biome, these are already, I told you, are divided into 2 parts, the freshwater and the marine type. The freshwater aquatic biomes are situated into the lakes, stream, rivers and the wetland. Whereas the marine type of biomes are situated into the oceans, coral reefs, lagoons and the estuaries. If we talk about the altitudinal biomes, these are situated into the slopes of high mountain regions like the Himalayas, the Andes and the Rockies. Now let's see what is the ecological balance. The balance between the living beings and also with the non-living environment is called the ecological balance, or simply we can say a balance of nature in which all the biotic and the abiotic components are interacting with each other It is known as a ecological balance. Ecological balance may be disturbed due to the human interruption. There are many things which are interrupting in the ecological balance, due to which it is going to be imbalanced. So let's see what are the reasons of the imbalancement of the ecological system. Ecological balance may be disturbed due to the introduction of new species, natural hazards, or man-made causes. Some measures should be taken to check these imbalances, as the man's interfere should be rational. Number two, we can say the population should be controlled, and we can say the afforestation should be encouraged, and the effort should be made to preserve the species those are in the endangered condition. We can take some more measures like the prevention of extinct requires sound planning and the management. But still there are many causes due to which we can't go through these measures, because many causes are there behind the imbalancement. So let's see what are the causes behind the imbalancement. As we talk about the causes, the ecological balance may be disturbed due to the introduction of new species. As already I told you, sometime the new species came or migrate from one area to another area, due to which the imbalancement is occurred. Same like that, the means interferes in the forest, or it is affect to the balance of the plant communities, even it leading to the disturbance in the ecosystem. Many times the human beings now they modify the environment because of their luxuries and their needs. So now it is imbalancing our ecosystem, due to which it is going to be changed. So there are such disturbance bring out the numerous secondary secretion, which we can say as the man-made disasters. One more important reason behind the imbalancement of our environment is the human pressure on the Earth's surface. It has put a heavy toll on the ecosystem. How? The human beings are fulfilling their resources requirement by exhausting the resources. So if the resources will be exhausted, then again we have to fulfill the requirement by heavy toll on the earth, and then after that again we have to scorch the earth. Then after that it can be turned into the barren earth, or we can say it is the reason behind the changing of environment in the different ways. This has destroyed its originality and had caused adverse effect to the general environment, as a lots of the factories are there, due to which the amount of the gases, those are the greenhouse gases and the polluted gases, due to that our environment is going to be polluted. Even the ozone layer is also damaged in that. And now if we say about one more thing, that is the ecological imbalancement have brought many natural calamities like the flood, landslide, many diseases. Now if we talk about this our pandemic diseases, these are also a kind of ecological imbalancement, where the human beings are interfering in the nature, then it is coming in the form of the diseases. So to remove these type of man-made hazards or the man-made disaster, we have to maintain the quality of our environment by afforestation, planting more and more trees, and to prevent the animals, those are the extinct and the endangered species. Even we have to conserve our resources for the future, so that we can secure the future of our next generation. So students, here our chapter Life on the Earth is complete. Hope you understood this chapter. In the next video, we will come with another new topic, that is the biodiversity. So for that, keep watching SST Jode.